Good morning to all and welcome to Supply Chain Management online classes. This is Dr. Mahesh M. Onjeri, Assistant Professor from Department of Management Studies, SDM College of Engineering and Technology, Dharwad. Okay. So dear students, I hope you remember in the previous class, okay, we were discussing about demand forecasting in a supply chain. Okay, so in fact, the last slide we completed in the previous class itself. Okay, so the last slide we discussed was the last slide in the chapter. Okay, so there is nothing left in the chapter number 7. So we'll move on to the next chapter now from unit 5. Okay, so it is our planning and operations in planning operations and demand and supply. Okay, so let me make the new share. Yeah, it's a sales and operations planning in a supply chain. Okay. So students, I hope we can see the PowerPoint slides, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, so from unit 5, okay, this is the another small chapter. Okay, so where we learn how sales and operations planning is done in a supply chain. Okay, how sales and operations planning is done in a supply chain. Okay. So how sales and operations planning, okay, sales, okay, sales planning, okay, so means by territory wise, customer wise, product wise, okay, so how sales planning is done and how the operations, okay, operations means operations planning means production planning. So how sales planning and production planning is done in the supply chain, that is what we are going to learn. So to understand how sales planning is done and how production planning is done in a supply chain, we need to understand, okay, how to respond to predictable variability in a supply chain, how to manage supply and how to manage demand in a supply chain. So these three put together will okay, give us the idea about how to plan sales and operations in a supply chain. Okay. So now let me begin with responding to predictable variability in a supply chain. See, predictable variability is change in demand that can be forecasted with more accuracy. We cannot say exactly, but with a fair accuracy, it can be predicted or estimated. So I'll give you an example of a predictable variability. If you consider the market for soft drinks, okay, so generally in India, the consumption of soft drinks decreases in monsoon and winter. Okay, and the consumption of soft drink is the demand is a peak or highest during summer. Okay, so over a period of time, Coca-Cola, Hindustan Coca-Cola company is there, PepsiCo India is there. Okay, so these companies have been selling the products in India since quite many years. So they will have historical data. So for the coming year, okay, definitely Pepsi and Coca-Cola can estimate. Okay, so what is an average demand, and during monsoon, okay, what will be the demand, and during winter, how much demand is going to decrease, and during summer, how much demand is going to increase. So they adjust their sales and production planning accordingly. Okay, I hope we can understand. Targets to sales reps can be allocated accordingly. Okay, you cannot give a same target for sales reps, okay, of Pepsi and Coca-Cola during all the months. Okay, because few months fall in monsoon, few months fall in winter, and few months fall in summer. But the demand for soft drinks will not be same during monsoon, winter, and summer. In production planning also, since the demand will be highest during summer, okay, the production scheduling has to be in all three shifts. I recall, okay, when now it is Varun Beverages in Dharwad, the single franchisee for PepsiCo India. In all over India, there is only one franchisee they have now for bottling and sales and distribution. Before that, okay, there are the Nectar Beverages. So we visited the Nectar Beverages long back. So I asked him during summer, Okay, by what extent the demand increases. Okay, he gave a simple example. He was from production. Okay, so during monsoon and winter, we run the production only in one shift of 8 hours. But during summer, we run the production in 3 shifts, 8 plus 8 plus 8, 24/7 production resumes. Okay, so I hope you can understand. So predictable variability is a change in demand that can be forecasted. So one simple example I gave you for soft drink. How much demand is going to increase during summer? Okay, so that can be fairly forecasted. Same way, how much demand will increase for raincoats and umbrellas during monsoon? That can be fairly forecasted. How much demand is going to change, okay, or increase for winter wear during winter can be fairly forecasted. I hope you can understand this concept. So predictable variability, change in demand that can be forecasted. It can cause increased costs and decreased responsiveness in the supply chain. Okay, so try to understand. So if the demand suddenly increases during peak, okay, so how are you going to meet that additional demand? How are you going to meet that additional demand? So Nectar Beverages, what happened? Okay, so they had a production capacity. Okay, so they had a certain production capacity and they manufacture in 3 shifts. Okay, so they manufacture in 3 shifts. Okay, so what will happen? Earlier during monsoon and winter, they used to manufacture in only 1 shift. Okay, so employee wages, I hope you can understand. Okay, was paid. Say if you consider it as a 1. Okay, and during summer, they manufacture soft drinks. Okay, in 3 shifts, 8 hours plus 8 hours plus 8 hours, 3 shifts of 8 hours each. So they have to pay the wages almost 3 times more. Okay, so I hope you can understand. One simple example again, the raw material cost. Okay, will be, you will order the quantity of raw materials almost 3 times more. So raw material cost increases, wages increase. Okay, so this way, this change in demand, okay, increases costs and decreases responsiveness Okay, so I can recall a couple of sales reps working in PepsiCo. So what they say is during monsoon and winter, just to push the demand, so the sales reps had given authority. So if they see a potential customer during monsoon and winter where the demand will be very low, okay, so they give offer such as 1+1. 1+1 is 1 crate plus 1 crate. Okay, so I don't know, you might have seen in our college bakery, okay, where the soft drink, empty soft drink bottles are kept. So yellow color or blue color plastic, okay, plastic rack, plastic crates they are called as. Okay, so they measure the sales always in crates. Okay, so it contains about 24 or 30 bottles. Each crate contains about 24 or 30 bottles. Okay, so during monsoon and winter, the sales reps are even allowed to give the offer like 1+1. If the retailer or the customer orders for 1 crate, you will get another crate absolutely free. Okay, so remember this. But during summer, what happens? Let me tell you. Okay, the customer may order for 2 crates, but he will get the delivery of just 1 crate. Okay, and the delivery also may not be very early. So this is because all over the market, all of a sudden demand increases and the company struggles to meet the quantity as well as delivery time of the order. Okay, then a firm can handle predictable variability using 2 broad approaches. I hope you understand by this time what is predictable variability. So how a firm can manage, okay, or handle predictable variability. So a company can handle predictable variability. Okay, predictable variability, the change in demand that can be forecasted using 2 broad approaches. Okay, so that is managing supply using capacity, inventory, subcontracting, and backlogs. And another approach is managing demand using short-term price discounts and trade promotions. Okay, so firm can handle predictable variability using 2 broad approaches. One is broadly by managing supply and by managing demand. Okay, So let's learn now how a company can handle predictable variability by managing supply and by managing demand. So first, how a company can handle predictable variability, okay, in demand by managing supply. Okay. So first thing is a company can handle predictable variability in demand by managing capacity. So that way they can manage supply. For example, time of flexibility from workforce. Okay. So if the employees are working in an 8-hour shift, okay, the company can announce, okay, that the demand will increase in coming period and the employees have to work for overtime, say another 4 hours, for example. Okay, so generally employees agree because in during overtime they get a higher rate of wages than the normal rate of wages. Okay, remember this. So making the workers to work for overtime is nothing but time of flexibility from workforce. Okay, even working in 3 shifts. Okay, working in 3 shifts. Okay, is the use of seasonal workforce. Okay, so if you want to run the production schedule for 3 shifts, 8 hours of each, okay, or even for that matter 8 hours normal work plus 4 hours OT overtime, and another shift 8 hours normal work plus 4 hours of overtime, even if you make the production in 2 batches. Okay, in that case also, okay, the existing number of workers will not be sufficient. So during season, okay, like summer for soft drinks, for example, okay, they can make use of a seasonal workforce. Okay, so who will be taken on contract basis, contract workers, employees on contract basis, who will work during only season, and once the season is over, okay, so they will go back to their home. Okay, so this is all done to increase production. Huh? Remember, time flexibility like working overtime or using the seasonal workforce, okay, and use of subcontracting. In some cases, okay, in some cases, okay, a company may outsource. A company may outsource, or it's called as subcontract, manufacturing of its products to some other company. Okay, see, there are companies who manufacture products on behalf of their clients. For example, I hope you have visited LVT Industries. Do you remember? Whether your batch visited LVT Industries in Hubballi?
No, sir.
Not
No,
your
sir.
No,
batch.
sir.
Okay, see,
No.
there
No,
is a.
sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Sorry?
Visited, sir.
And so everybody is saying no, sir.
Sir, Parle, no, sir.
Correct.
Visited, sir.
Remember, it is not Parle, huh? It is LVT Industries.
LVT, sir.
But Kallaya
Yes, sir.
knows the correct name, LVT Industries. Okay. Parle company has outsourced the manufacturing function to LVT Industries in Hubballi. So LVT Industries manufactures Parle company products on behalf of, okay, Parle company. Remember this. Okay, but that is a complete outsourcing. So what we are talking about subcontracting is only during the season when the demand is more and the company is unable to manufacture the required number of goods. So instead of losing sales, okay, they subcontract, they give a contract to another manufacturing plant to manufacture their products. Okay, but this will be, all these 3 options will be expensive, huh? They increase cost. But anyway, still they will be able, they help the company to meet the change in demand or to meet the increase in demand. Okay. So this is the first aspect, how a company can manage capacity, how a company can manage predictable, how a company can handle predictable variability in demand by managing capacity and by way of product increasing production, and this way by way of managing supply. See, managing supply means increasing production to meet the increase in demand. Okay, remember this. Then managing inventory. The company can manage supply. Okay, also by way of managing inventory, making the products available using common components across multiple products. Okay, so using common components across multiple products. Okay, see if we consider, for example, different two-wheeler models. Okay, different two-wheeler models. Okay, so many components will be common. Okay, say for example, braking systems, for example, brake levers, handle, tires, tubes, rim, okay, or frame of the tire. Okay, then petrol tank. Okay, petrol tank you leave it. Okay, so then suspension systems. Okay, spark plugs. Okay, and in some cases, even the engine also will be same. Even the engine also may be same in case of two-wheelers and four-wheelers. So this way, using a common component across multiple products help manage inventory, because what will happen, okay, these common components will be manufactured in bulk. Okay, that is the first thing. So it helps achieve economies of scale. Okay, and enables the company to make availability of the components, enable the company to make availability of the components, okay, at any point in time, because the components are common. So if in each product compulsorily, in a customized product usually it happens, if the components are different, then see it becomes very expensive for the company to manufacture those are different components for each product, okay, in smaller quantities. Okay, and another way to manage supply, okay, is building inventory of high demand or predictable demand products. Okay, so if if there is a high demand for products, okay, continuously, especially FMCG products, you can consider the demand is always high and consistent throughout the year. Okay, so the demand for FMCG products is also predictable demand. Okay, you can always remember the demand for FMCG products is always high and always predictable. Okay, so always company can build high level of inventory. Okay, companies can maintain a higher level of inventory for FMCG products because their demand is high and the demand is also predictable. Okay, so they can manufacture in bulk, store it in different warehouses across the market, and as and when the orders come in from wholesalers, keep meeting the orders. Okay, so some products even they can be manufactured, okay, well in advance, okay, whose expiry dates are very longer. Okay, so this way, by managing inventory, okay, a company can manage supply. Again, supply here means customer orders should be fulfilled on time. So how, by way of managing inventory, the supply or customer orders can be met, we understood. Okay. Then I will take your questions, if any, after this. Okay. So inventory or capacity trade-off. It may inventory, when you say level of inventory, low level of inventory or high level of inventory. Capacity means production capacity, high level of production capacity or low level of production capacity. If you can recall from network design, okay, we used the solver tool, okay, to illustrate the networking decisions, like where to locate the facilities, how to allocate, which markets to allocate to each facility, and what should be the production capacity of each facility. So there are two options. Okay, 10, I think 10 tons and 20 ton capacity. 10 ton and 20 ton capacity to production capacity. 10 ton means lower production capacity, 20 ton means higher production capacity. Okay, so that way the company has to make a trade-off, okay, between inventory and production capacity, okay, while trying to manage supply. Let us see what are they. Leveling capacity forces, okay, inventory. Leveling capacity forces inventory to build up in anticipation of a seasonal variation in demand. Leveling capacity means maintaining a low production capacity. If the company maintains a lower production capacity, then definitely it has to manufacture in advance and hold the inventory in huge quantity in anticipation of the seasonal variation in demand. Okay, that is quite simple. Okay, say for example, a company's production capacity is lower and there is Deepavali season ahead. Okay, for let us say ready-made apparels. Okay, so they don't have any expiry date. I hope you understand. Ready-made apparels. So the company now knows that during the season of Deepavali, the demand for ready-made garments or apparels will be very high, but the company's production capacity is limited, small capacity. So what the company can do? Okay, they manufacture well in advance and they build up a huge level of inventory in anticipation of the seasonal variation in demand for the upcoming Deepavali season. Okay, so the company will manufacture the ready-made garments in huge quantity and maintain the higher level of inventory with them because they have a lower production capacity. Okay, they cannot meet the demand just in time. Okay, so leveling capacity means maintaining a lower production capacity, but that will lead to increase in inventory carrying cost. So the company has to decide whether to maintain a lower production capacity or whether to maintain a lower production capacity and maintain a high level of inventory, or to maintain a higher production capacity, higher level of production capacity. Okay, if the company has, it can meet the demand just in time, so they need not build up a higher level of inventory. They need not manufacture well in advance and they need not maintain a high level of inventory. So which decision the company has to take? We call it inventory or capacity trade-off. Then carrying low levels of inventory is another option. Okay, carrying low levels of inventory requires a capacity to vary with seasonal variation in demand, or enough capacity to cover peak demand during season. So alternatively, if the company decides to maintain a lower level of inventory, then definitely its production capacity should vary with the seasonal variation in demand. It means during the off season, the company should be able to produce the required number of work units at a lower cost, as well as the company should be able to manufacture a large number of units during the season to meet the increase in demand. Okay, so if you can recall nectar beverage example which I gave, nectar beverages example which I gave, okay, it was again 10-year-old example which I'm giving, but you can understand. So I'm using the word nectar beverages also. Varun Beverages has a different strategy. I will tell that information. So nectar beverages 10 years ago, so they, in inventory capacity trade-off, they went for this alternative decision, means carrying low levels of inventory. Okay, so nectar beverages maintained a lower level of inventory during monsoon and winter as the demand was low. Okay, and they were able to meet the increase in demand during summer, okay, with seasonal, okay, because they had a production capacity which varies, okay, along with the demand in season. Okay, or they had enough production capacity, to cover peak demand during season. So how they met the increase in demand during summer? Okay, so let me tell you. Okay, during monsoon and winter, they run the production in only one shift of 8 hours. But during summer, they ran the production in 3 shifts. That is how they were able to meet the peak demand during summer. Okay. 1 minute. Okay, so any doubts now? Any doubts from students?
No, sir.
Okay, screen,
No, sir.
screen was not visible. It was due to that e-scan. Okay, update. Now screen was visible immediately after that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so I'll just take a quick recap what we are exactly learning is, okay, responding to predictable variability in supply chain. Okay, so for some products like soft drink, they will have very high demand during summer and very low demand during monsoon and winter. So how the company meets the demand during summer, for example, okay, for soft drinks. So this is called a predictable variability. Okay, so the change in demand during summer for soft drinks is fairly predictable. It can be fairly forecasted or estimated. Okay, so how firm can handle this predictable variability? We are learning that is by way of using two approaches. One is by managing supply and another is by managing demand. So what we learned just now is how a company can handle predictable variability. In my case, I'm taking the example of soft drinks, the increase in demand for soft drinks during summer. Okay, so how soft drink companies can manage this handle predictable variability by way of managing supply. How supply is managed by way of using capacity, inventory, subcontracting, and backlogs. Okay. So I hope I asked you if you have any doubts. You said no. Okay. So 56 students are there. Okay. You want me to take attendance now or in the second session?
The second session.
Okay. Because some students, if I take attendance now, some students don't join back the second session. For their convenience also I have to keep in mind. Okay, so as per the one of the students' suggestion, I will take the attendance in second session. So let me focus on this now. So another approach to handle the predictable variability in demand is by way of managing demand. Okay, so there are two sides. One is supply side, another is demand side. Okay, so we just now learned how a company can handle predictable variability in demand by way of managing supply. Predictable variability in demand, I'm giving you the example of increase in demand for soft drinks during summer. Okay, and how a company can meet that increase in demand by way of managing supply. Supply means inventory or production. Okay, now the predictable variability in demand can also be handled by way of managing demand. So beautiful it is. So pay attention. So one is promotion. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Okay, one is promotion. Okay, the timing of promotion, for example. See what I told you, soft drinks. So when the demand will be low, okay, so companies struggle to increase demand during off-season period. So if you can recall the example which I gave, okay, so this example I learned in Goa when I was working for Goa. So I knew a sales rep of PepsiCo. Again, it was a franchisee who used to manufacture, sell, and distribute on behalf of PepsiCo in Goa. Okay. So what he told is during monsoon and winter, we'll have authority. Okay. It is empowered. The sales reps are empowered to give offers equivalent to the offer of Coca-Cola. So for example, if a sales rep of PepsiCo, okay, goes to a bakery, for example, okay, and if the bakery person says, no, I will not buy from you because I have Coca-Cola is giving 1+1 offer, 1 crate plus another crate offer free. Then immediately, without even consulting the area sales manager, the sales rep of PepsiCo could give the offer to the bakery fellow, 1+1 offer. Okay, so we call that as a promotion. So instead of ordering few bottles like 10 bottles, 12 bottles, okay, the customer may order whole crate. Okay, remember. Okay, so what will happen, though the demand was low, okay, but due to the promotion, okay, the sales rep could able to increase the demand. Just he could double the demand. Remember this. But every sales rep will not double. Every customer will not buy that way. But definitely, whatever is the low demand, by way of promotions, the company will be able to increase demand to certain extent. Okay, so that is one thing. And another thing is, see, during peak season, you should observe, okay, but you should very carefully observe. Okay, since the entry of organized retailers in India, as well as, okay, especially since the entry of online retailers in India like Amazon and Flipkart. Okay, so things have changed in Indian market. But prior to that, prior to the entry of Flipkart and Amazon.in in India. See, I remembered in first time when I encountered this is generally I used to think that during offer period companies give promotion sales, introduce sales promotion offers, discounts, gifts, 1+1 like that. Okay, then I was in Goa and it was Goa, three biggest festive seasons. One is Christmas, another is Deepavali, and third one is the Ganesh Chaturthi. Okay, it is celebrated in a far bigger way than in Karnataka. Okay, so I purchased a television and this a DVD player during Ganesh festival, thinking that there will be some offer. But when I went to the dealer, okay, I was surprised. He said, "Sir, this is the Ganesh festival season. The demand is very peak, so neither companies nor we give any offer." Okay, so try to understand. Okay, then same thing. Okay, so in Dharwad there is Soch store. Okay, ethnic wear. It's a retail chain all over India. So Soch store, I hope you are aware. So when we went to buy some apparel for my wife, what we learned during Deepavali, there were no offers, absolutely zero offers. All the merchandise was sold on full price MRP. So this is what I'm trying to tell. The timing of promotions. The company can manage demand even by way of timing of the promotions. Okay, so if the demand is very high and company is struggling to meet the demand, the company can shift some part of this demand, okay, to other part of the year. Okay, so now many customers know that, okay, for Soch, for example, okay, store, they don't give sales promotion offers during festive seasons. So some percentage of the customers decide not to buy, okay, during the month of festive season. They may buy in advance or they may buy after the festive season when the company will have sales promotion offers. Soch comes out with the sales promotion offer called as red dot sales. Those who have purchased, you should remember. So like even up to 50% they give discounts. So by way of not giving promotions during the festive season, so it will force some percentage of customers to shift their demand to non-peak periods, and company will be able to meet the demand during the festive season. The second thing is pricing. Okay, second thing is pricing. Okay. So if you can recall, okay, these Inox, Cinepolis or PVR multiplexes, okay, how do they price to manage demand? It's a very excellent example. Okay, so weekdays are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. Okay, so most of the working class will not be able to go for a movie during weekdays. So generally the capacity of the cinema, it is called cinema, not theater. Theater is something where live performances, people perform in person. It's a live performance in theater. Remember this. Cinema is where we watch movies. Okay, recorded movies. So it's a cinema. So whatever the capacity of each cinema or each screen, it's called, in multiplex we'll have usually 3 to 4 screens. So let us say the capacity of each screen is 500. There are 4 screens, total 2000 seats are there. Okay, for each show, whatever number of show they run in each day, for each show there will be 2000 seats. That is the capacity of the multiplex. So weekdays, what is the occupancy of these seats? Hardly 50%. Average occupancy of the seats, okay, during the weekdays is hardly 50%. But what happens to the demand for these cinema seats during weekends? It is not 100%. It is beyond 100%. Yes, it is full. Most of the people get free on weekends like Saturday and Sunday. So most of them, okay, come over to watch movies in cinema. The demand increases if there is a good movie, provided if there is a good movie, the demand increases beyond 100%. If there are 2000 seats in 4 screens, the demand may be as high as 1500 or 2000. Okay, so then there will be many customers who will come and get disappointed because they don't get tickets and they go back. So how companies try to manage this demand? Okay, increase in demand on the weekends. Okay, so that is the reason what they do is what price they charge for the same screen, same movie, same facility On weekdays, they charge a low price, say 100 rupee, 120 rupee. Okay, and on the weekends, they charge a higher price, like 200 rupees or 220 rupees for the same seat, same movie, same environment. So knowing this, some percentage of the customers who wanted to watch on the weekend, they shift to weekdays. Okay, I will continue to explain this in the next class. Okay, so you can log out and log in the same class again. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.